Welcome. Welcome to Seer and Higher Self, YouTube Live. Um, I so just to let you know that the city in British Columbia or in Vancouver, the city is owned by, it's called BC Hydro, and basically we all have the same electrical um, bill comes from hydro, so it's like owned by the government. And so they gave us a notification that they might turn off all the power in the city today. But we don't know when. They just kind of said the whole day. And so right now we have power, but we don't know if that will change at any point during the day. So I thought, well, I'm going to continue with the YouTube live. And so if we get disconnected and I cannot come back on, um, just so you know, that's the city shutting down the power. And so we'll continue again on Tuesday, and I'll answer people's questions on Tuesday if we get interrupted today. But um, yeah, I just thought I would give everybody a heads up and let everybody know. And it's kind of a funny thing that they're have some water. It's kind of a funny thing that they're doing, but they do it randomly and they have done it before. And so there's a lot in the air right now. There's a lot going on. So we had like the fake 8-8 portal, right? Where they're like wanting us to put a lot of energy into that. I just got some hearts, so I'll send some hearts back. Thank you for sending hearts. That's really nice. Um, so I, and then there's the eclipse. And so it's kind of like, it's interesting, right? So like source consciousness also uses those moments of amplification as well. So it's like a really good time for us also to amplify basically source consciousness and to connect with our higher selves and just be very protective of our energy and our field. Um, so I'm just gonna adjust the camera angle. I don't know. I changed it a little bit. Let's check the chat. Sunija says, hello, everyone. Hi, Sunija. Thank you for joining. Thank you. And Sunija sends a little angel and a hug and some heart emojis. Thank you, Sunija. Okay, so let's go through the basics just because a lot is happening kind of in the field. And so in at my place, they cut down, so they did all this construction, and then the city owns the land, and then I thought, oh, with all the 3 years of construction, they didn't cut down the 9 cherry blossom trees. And then as soon as all the scaffolding is gone and all the construction's gone, then they chop down all the 9 cherry blossom trees. And they said they're gonna like pave it with cement. And I thought there were 8, but there's actually 9. And so I kind of felt like those cherry blossom trees, first of all, they're like rare and rare to have so many in one place. And then they were very tall. They were almost 3 stories tall. So they were very mature trees. Um, so they're gone. So at the same time, when all of this is kind of happening, kind of like in the air in terms of timing. And so I feel like what I was told kind of in the 888 portal on Saturday. So is there's this level of desperation right now. So, and I can see that like in my dreams, there's like this level of desperation. And so there, um, like if you think about it, if 80, okay, so the statistically what other people have said that NPCs are about what 70 to 85% of the population. So NPCs are non-player characters. They don't have an origination, like a source emanation. So they're made. But we're supposed to just, like, let them be, kind of ignore them, right? Like, and because if you do challenge them too, you'll kind of find that they're they get overwhelmed easily. Like you can see the script is very important to them and then they can't go off script. So I challenged somebody that I believe they are an NPC and it completely like overwhelmed her. Like, and it wasn't even like a big challenge. It was just like a questioning, but it was like it would have required her to go kind of off script. And it was like she kind of had like a meltdown. So I was like, yeah, we're really meant to leave them alone. And so um I just got a message that popped up and it said like that we are meant to get our compensation, like interesting timing. Like we are meant to get our compensation from source. And so when we're naming everything and clearing everything in source's name and claiming technology in source's name, claiming our space in source's name, sealing our space in source's name, like it really makes a big difference. And say I'm not sure actually how many light workers are on Earth right now, but it's more than we've ever had in any other timeline. And so, meaning there's more light workers, more volunteers are here. And so we can really amplify things. And it doesn't have to be like that many of us. Like we keep thinking, like there's all these, you know, people that have like I don't know like 10 million followers or I don't know like some spiritual teachers that have like all these huge followings. We actually don't need that many. And so they're always like, oh, but you don't have whatever this we like one light worker with another light worker mirroring is actually that amplification is a lot. And so that's kind of funny to get a message that came up on my screen, like to get kind of sources compensation because we can ask for that, like anytime anything happens to me, I'm asking, I'm naming it, I want it updated into the records, and then um, I'm asking for sources compensation. Like I'm saying I'm sending it to source, I'm releasing it. Like I don't want to be attached in any way. Um, and it's really that, it's the attachment because it's like, as light workers, starseeds, sensitives, black sheep, we're so conscientious. It's like there's people that completely decimated us and we were still like, oh, I want to keep trying. Like I always said that. I was like, love always wins and I gotta keep trying. I gotta work it out. It's like, or you can let go. And I was told that constantly. And anytime I looked at multiple timelines, they were always like, or you could just let go, right? Release it to source. And that's the hardest thing. And that for me has been my biggest challenge, but I really feel like if I can do it, anyone can do it. So, and we're here kind of like in creating like connection, but like for all of us, like kind of like that sisterhood, brotherhood kind of connection. Because if your family has Archon entangled or the Dark Triad or Draco reptilians and reptilians, which, all families do because they're the ones that are dominating the 3D realm. We are around them, you know. Um, there might be a sibling that is an NPC as well, or a parent. Like they are around us, they're not just like out in the world, they're like in our families. So, and for me, it was hard to accept, things as they are because you always want, to change them or make them better. But now I don't do that. Finally. Phew. Finally. Took forever. Okay, so I see Sinija has a question, but let's do like a tuning in. Um, and then Sinija says, yeah, people must stand up to their own BS. Yeah, absolutely. Like we're here, to awaken. And I saw a comment from Sinija, but we're here to awaken ourselves, and we're here to not, kind of teach or show or convince or um, that we're here just to have our own emanation. Like the more emanation from source, like the kind of like the most steady your field is. Like I feel pretty steady. And even when things happen, right away, I'm like naming them in source's name. And then I'm asking for source compensation. So we'll see how that goes. But so far, I feel really good that I'm actually seeing it in the moment. Like to me, that is incredible that I'm waking up in my dream and I'm naming and claiming things in the moment from my dream. Like to me, I feel like that's amazing. So let's claim this YouTube live in source's name. Let's claim the YouTube chat in source's name. Hi, Juanita and Sinija. So we're just going to do like a tuning in, and we're going to do the technology decree. So claiming this YouTube live in source's name, claiming the chat in source's name, claiming all the technology in source's name, our computers, claiming our computers in source's name, claiming this microphone in source's name, claiming this microphone in source's name, claiming the electrical cables in source's name, and claiming the power bars in source's name. I claim this atmospheric space in source's name. I claim 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, 6G towers in source's name. I claim the Wi-Fi in the air in source's name. I claim the electricity in source's name. So I'm going to claim BC Hydro because they're in charge of the electricity here in BC. So claiming BC Hydro in source's name, which is the government. So it's owned by the government. I claim the government in source's name. I claim Vancouver in source's name. I claim British Columbia in source's name. I claim Canada in source's name. So that's kind of how we do it because that's kind of my field. This is the area that I'm in. And then I'm asking for only clear aligned expansion that lights me up. So that's what I'm sending as an intention for this YouTube live. I'm asking for clear aligned expansion that lights me up. And so we'll see how, yeah, let's claim Oregon in source's name because Juanita is here in the chat. And then Juanita has a good one. I claim my own energy in source's name. And I claim the YouTube live and the chat in source's name. We'll do that again. Good. And I seal this space in source's name. And I claim this space in source's name. I claim my energy as my own in source's name. and I give and receive in balance in Source's name. And all that approaches me must match in respect and love in Source's name. Good. Oh, let's see. I just wanted to adjust my chair a little bit, but I can't find it. I'm like, I want to be a little bit taller. Okay, let's see that. There we go. Okay, good. Okay. It's one of those that has like an adjustment. There, good. Okay, so that's like the technology decree. And then we also set our intention. So I set my intention that I want clear aligned expansion that lights me up in this YouTube live. That's a good one. So I want clear aligned expansion that lights me up. And we're doing lots of clearing for the nervous system. So like the nervous systems of whoever's watching. So the hair is like the fast track for clearing the nervous system. So we're doing that a lot. And I also want to set the intention in this YouTube live that we collapse all mimic timelines. So all timelines that are false, that are not source aligned. So how I'm going to word it is, my intention in this YouTube live is to collapse all mimic timelines. And I revoke all false contracts. And I realign only with source. And I am only source aligned through sovereign commands. I speak as one soul, as one source soul consciousness. My higher self is only aligned with source. And I seal this living field in source's name. Good. Great. They're like, that's a good one. That's what I heard. That's a good one. So yeah, that's really good. So collapse all mimic timelines. So I collapse all mimic timelines that are not source through sovereign command, only source consciousness. And I realign only with source consciousness. And so that we can set those intentions, and doing it together, there's always an amplification. So, and it's so interesting, right? Getting that message that came up on the screen saying compensation from source, right? Like the timing of that, getting compensation from source. So it's like anytime I'm interfered with, I'm naming it. I want the records. I'm asking for the records only source aligned to be updated. And then I'm also asking for source's compensation, and I'm sending it to source and then back to sender. So, and then that's really surrendering and letting go. So yeah, there we go. We did the technology decree, because technology is the way that they're controlling in 3 and 40. And we can see that, we can see that, even when I'm watching, any social medias, like everybody's got their phone more than their laptop, but everybody has the little mini computer with them everywhere they go, right? And I have a little mini computer everywhere I go. I'm actually on a computer, and I have a phone that's like a little mini computer. Right. So the first thing I do in the morning is claim my phone in source's name before I even pick it up. And I name like the microphone, I name the camera, and then I name all the apps in source's name. And that's the first thing I do as soon as I wake up. Like if I touch my phone, not the first thing I do, but the first time I pick up my phone, I do that. And then before I come onto the YouTube live, I also claim that technology and my laptop in source's name and all the cables. So I do the technology decree and then just really claim that my energy is my own, and no siphoning, like at all. No siphoning, no, zero siphoning. Okay, good. All right, so sending lots of love. That felt like a bit intense. We cleared the nervous system and then we got like crystal clear. So I'm just going to take a look at the chat and thank you for all your messages and thank you for being here. And just as a reminder that I was given notification that BC Hydro, that runs all the electricity in the province, said that they may shut off. I think it's just Vancouver, but I'm not sure. But they are just going to randomly turn off all the electricity in the city at some point today. So they didn't give a specific time. They just said, like, basically within business hours. So maybe like till 6 o'clock or something. So if we do get disconnected and I cannot come back on, I will try and come back on. But if I can't, then we'll just reconnect on Tuesday. Lots happening. Okay, so let's take a look at the chat. So thank you so much for writing in the chat. Sunija has a question for her higher self. Okay, so we'll do that. Hi, Juanita says hi. And I claim the chat and live in source's name. That's Juanita. And Juanita says, I claim my own energy. Great. And then Juanita sends lots of hearts emojis and 3 horses and purple hearts. Great. And then Juanita says, let us all know the truth. Yeah, exactly. Like if we think about it, it's like that is how smart we are, that 80% is true and 20% is a distortion, but we are seeing the distortion of the 20%, which is really amazing. So I just want to get yeah, good. Okay. I just want to adjust the camera there. I am a film person. I worked in film for 20 years. So then part of me still always like, fix the camera, fix the clothing, fix the hair. Whew, force of habit, 2 decades working in film. Okay, so um yeah, and then yeah, Juanita's stating an intention, all false is collapsed. Great. And then love and light, only source aligned, though, because there is the false love and light, or there is the false light. Those little tricksters, they use the same names, right? So, and that's the next decree that's out is called the identity theft decree. And that's what they basically do. They try from the moment we're born, they try to control like source emanated beings. Like they want the, they want so much done with inferred consent. And that's the decree that's out right now is the identity theft decree. And it was posted, the first chapter went up on the 8th of August, 2026. And then the voodoo doll spells decree, the full decree is up as well. I think it's a bit over 2 hours. Okay, so thank you, Juanita. Yeah, and Juanita is stating her intention that the fear and lies have no hold on me. Great. And then Juanita is saying, I surround myself in the golden light of protection. Yes, from source. And then Cindy just says claiming source's nervous system reset. Oh, that's really good. Yeah, because that was what we needed a lot of clearing at the beginning of this live was actually clearing the nervous system. So yeah, claiming source's nervous system, source reset for the nervous system. Yeah, that's great, Sinija. Helen is here. Good afternoon, Elaine, Sinija, and Juanita, listening from work, sending positive light to you guys and little emojis. Thank you, Helen. Thank you for being here. I'm going to send you some love. Thank you. Sending Juanita love and Sinija as well from the chat and everybody else that's watching. Thank you. And Sinija says hi back to Helen. And then Juanita says tricksters no more. And Sunija says they already claimed our souls too through the straw man. Yeah, technically, legally, but that's inferred consent because a baby cannot give consent. you know. So that's in that when I'm saying inferred consent, that's what I mean. Like we're not lawyers and we didn't get a debrief about the law and what our birth certificate means. Um, we didn't get that, right? So, and if you see on our birth certificate, it says, I think, like our parents, but they're not like, I'm not the parent of my son. I am the mother. Like, I'm the mother. So they do so much with inferred consent, but work in every decree, we clear, cancel, and release and send to source any inferred consent. And then Sunija says electricity is artificial nervous system. Yeah, and that's what 4D works as like through electricity, through the electronics, and also through electricity. So what I was shown is what they create in our bodies is these little shards of metal. And so they need those little shards of metal in our bodies because they send out these electrical pulses and then they agitate our nervous system, they agitate our bodies. And that's why, so many people have autoimmune diseases or problems. Like they're saying, our bodies when with an autoimmune interference, they're saying our bodies are going against our own organs and our bodies are going against ourselves, but our bodies are not doing that. Okay, the body is being interfered with these electrical interferences, and those electrical interferences come through many ways. Um, but they have to do a lot, to our pineal gland so that we don't see. They have to do a lot to our nervous system, but yet we're still awakening. Yet we're still sending intentions. Yet we are still claiming things in Source's name. So they're doing so much to make sure that we don't awaken, and yet we are. And here we are. you know? So it's amazing. Juanita says, yeah, keep the baby safe. Yeah, absolutely. And that's, like that's what they always go to because the innocence, the purity, they've just come from source. So, and then, but staying with our hearts and our hearts, staying with a connection with our hearts and then connecting through our hearts is actually the most powerful thing on earth to do. And then we were always told the heart is like romantic and it's just for like romance. It's not true. Like our hearts are the hardest to interfere with. And they use a high level of tech with the fallen cherubim, like 23D, to interfere with our hearts. And it is high tech, but we're still releasing it. So we're naming it in the decrees and we're releasing it. So and then just only aligning. And I always say, God, source, divine presence. So, and then again, what's coming up is to revoke all false timelines and claim all false timelines in source's name. Because that also can create so much confusion. So I see that happening with lots of people. Like if you put your keys somewhere and then they're somewhere else and you're like, I know I put them there. Or like one time it happened to me when I went for coffee and my purse wasn't behind my chair and it was behind the counter. So somebody had my purse, but they gave it to the person behind the counter and nothing was stolen. So to me, that was like a timeline kind of trickery. So, but I had still claimed my purse. I claimed my wallet in Source's name. I claimed my purse in Source's name. I claimed my phone in Source's name. So it had been moved, but nothing was taken. It was really interesting. So that was in 2024. So that hasn't happened for a long time. Um, and Sunija says, speaking of the body, can we do a body image decree? Okay, I'll write that down. The next decree I'm working on right now. So the identity theft decree is kind of moving on, like chapters are being released daily. But the next one that I'm doing is the false light, false light decree. And then I will put that on the list to do body image decree. Okay, body image decree. Yeah, good. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, somebody was saying that to me recently because she's young and she was saying, like how they constantly portray like, on Instagram, like the ideal body and the hair and the lashes and like all like the nails and how it's like so over the top. Like everything is so intense where like in the 90s, I was in my 20s in the 90s and working in film and it was like so relaxed. Like you could wear what you wanted. Your hair was your hair. Like, um, I felt, and I worked in film and I didn't feel any pressure about how I looked or what I wore or, it was like everybody had their own style. And it was very casual, compared to, the pressure that's on young people now. So, and I think it's because in film, like we're seeing things as they are, which means that the hologram, like this projected image that they have of the of famous people, like we're seeing them as they are, like they're not able to kind of have that filter that they had in the past. And so we're actually seeing like who looks like a reptilian, who looks like a Draco reptilian. And also they need a lot of energy. And so I can see them, they're becoming really emaciated, but they remember if their body has been taken over and so the soul or the higher self has been kind of like controlled or suppressed, and then they need a lot of energy, like a lot of loosh. Like say they only can get, which is a lot, but say from each light worker, they can only get like, say, 10 or 5%, maybe 20% of each light worker's energy, which most of the energy that all comes from light workers, like source emanated beings. And they still can't get that much what they need from us. And then now a lot of us are revoking inferred consent and then and then claiming our energy as our own. So say you go to one of these big spiritual events. I saw this one guy describing it, right? And he's an empath, he's a light worker. And you go to this big spiritual event and it's like a week long. And I think he said it cost him 5,000 American. And so right away they're saying about how like, to give your energy to basically kind of like open your energy field and, like to these entities and the entities are benevolent, and he's a seer. So he's seeing that they're not benevolent, but then there is this, it's like a lot of people in this event, like thousands. And he said there's this pressure to kind of like hive mind, so probably most of them are NPCs or reptilians and Draco reptilians. And so they're trying to convince the empaths, the light workers, the sensitives to open up their field. Like this isn't for the NPCs, this isn't for the Dark Triad. This is like to trick light workers, right? To open their field so that they can have full access to their source emanated energy. and then you kind of get caught because you're like everybody around you is like, yeah, do it. You're not trying hard enough. Like he said, he kept hearing, I wasn't trying hard enough. That, everybody kept saying to him, like, you got to open up more and you got to do more of these meditations and you're not trying hard enough. And he said it's a really famous person. I can guess who he was talking about. He didn't name them, so I'm not going to name them, but he said basically, we can kind of get the gist from the description, and he does these meditations and these recorded meditations, and you're supposed to listen to these recorded meditations over and over again. And he said he kept having this, and it was just this small, tiny voice saying, leave, 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 and go now. But he said he had paid 5,000 US and traveled, because he's in England. So he traveled to the US to come to this, you know, convention, spiritual convention, and it was expensive. And he felt like he was committed to it. And so it was really hard to leave. And then there was this kind of like hive mind pressure to, to not leave. And he said, as soon as he left, his whole everything fell apart. Like he was a seer. He couldn't see, he couldn't receive messages. He felt totally disconnected from his higher self. And he said he lost so much money. He lost all his clients. He lost his business. Like everything collapsed. His energy collapsed. And he was like, he did a video on it and I saw it this morning. And he basically said everything in his life fell apart. And it took him like a year after everything fell apart to then kind of like track, okay, when did my life start falling apart? And it was exactly when he went to this conference. And then that little voice then became the magnified voice, because his intuition, his higher self was speaking to him. And he said, I felt like, the hive mind was saying, don't leave, like we're all in it together. And and then he also, he didn't want to waste the money, but he said energetically it cost him so much. And it's taken him like 2 years to get back on track. So the siphoning is real, like the siphoning and the coercion, the lying, cheating, stealing is their main MO, modus operandi. That's what I heard in my head. Modus operandi. It's their main, it's like this is the 3D. And then we just need to learn, we just need to learn the program and then revoke inferred consent and then send it to source and then not be like battling with them, like not in our nightmares, not battling with whatever's coming through. Because if you're remembering it, it's not a nightmare, it's happening in some time space. And so then you're revoking it, so we have that power. We have the power to send everything to source and to claim everything in source's name and ask source to step in on our behalf. Like I ask source to step in all the time. So, and I did have like a trickster. So anyway, so that was a busy morning. A lot happened, right? So a lot kind of confirming what, has been named in these YouTube lives and also what has been named in the decrees. So, um, oh, Sunny just says would be interesting to see his video. Yeah, I didn't keep it because I was kind of like, he wasn't somebody that I follow, so he kind of came up on my feed, and so then I started listening to him, and then I was like, oh, I think I know who he's talking about. I've named him in the decree, in one of my decrees. So, but I don't follow this person at all. So, and then the person who I think the conference or whatever that he went to, this spiritual conference in America in the States, I'm pretty sure I know who he's talking about, but he didn't want to name him. So I'm not going to name him because it's not my story. It's not my experience. It's something that came across kind of what I call like across my desk. Um, and then Sinija, let's see. Let's see. Cindy says some ask for certain archangels to step in for different reasons, but you can just say source because that's all you need to say. Yeah, yeah, Juanita, you can just say source. Um, to step in because even God, like God has the name God has been hijacked on 3D Earth, and then there's interference with God, and there's lots of gods who think they're God on 3D Earth, and then even the 4D Anunnaki think they're gods, right? So then I always say, if I say God, because I feel like God in my heart. And I used to, talk to God when I was a kid. So I didn't say source when I was little. I said God. I'd be like, God, what is going on here? That was like my main question when I was a kid. But I always say God source. And then Eckhart Tolle uses divine presence. And so I say all three. So God, source, divine presence, but I don't usually say God by God. I don't say God by itself. I always say God, source, divine presence. And then even for our higher self, I always say only source aligned. So, but once we kind of get like, once we get just clearing the nervous system, because lots of tricky information, right? We're calling in kind of naming the tricksters. Um, so just clearing the nervous system. Um, okay. So it looks like Cindy just said to so Juanita said, when living with someone who is low vibes, what's the best thing to do to protect myself energetically daily? I have a living situation. I can't afford to move or I would. Juanita, 1981, she, her. Okay, so we'll look into your question asking like your higher self. But ultimately, with roommate situations, we can just name like our private space in source's name. And then we can say, um, like I claim this space, like in the shared space, you can say I claim the shared space in source's name with respect to that person's higher self, only source aligned. I know it's very wordy, but we're wanting to be very precise. So you can just say like I claim this space in source's name, and then also, but with respect to the person higher self, only source aligned. Because if you are living with them, the best thing to do is just to respect their space, but like just basically turn it over to source. And um, yeah, so yes, so let's look at, I know, thank you, Sunija, for waiting. I know Sunija has a question. So Sunija, 1973, she, her. So Sinija, 1973, she, her. I've had toenail fungus due to a sibling stepping on it with a high heel shoe at a private party in 1995, 1996. It fell off 3 times, but comes back. Can my higher self clear it? Okay, and I'm just receiving some hearts, so I'm going to send some hearts back. Thank you. Okay. So, wow, that's so tricky. So, toenail fungus due to a sibling stepping on it with high heel shoe at a party, private party in 1995, 1996. So, yeah, a long time to be dealing with this. And it fell off 3 times, but comes back. Can my higher self clear it? Okay, that's really interesting. Like the toenail actually fell off 3 times. Usually that can take care of it, but it's not. This is definitely a sisterhood, brotherhood, a sisterhood question. Sister to sister. Let's see what's happening with the dynamic between the sisters. Okay, so Sinija, 1973. So let's see what's happening with the sisters. So right away, they're just clearing nervous system. Okay, I'm going to have some water, they said. Sorry if that was loud. Usually Zoom mutes, but I felt like that drinking of water was like very loud. Okay, so that's interesting because it can be very tricky. That whole toenail thing can be very tricky. But let's see what's happening between the sisters, right? So the sister stepped on your toenail, and then it's been an ongoing problem for a couple of decades, almost 3 decades. So right away, I feel like there's this like foggy feeling. There's this foggy feeling between the sisters. There's like a foggy, kind of collapsing, foggy feeling. So they're just saying, okay, let's connect. This is for you, Sinija. Let's just connect to the inner heart and to anybody that's watching. So connecting to the inner heart. And we're asking for the deepest healing and clearing available for Sinija to clear this to the root cause, to the very first incarnation, and then only source aligned. So we're going to revoke all false soul contracts between the two sisters. And they're saying to reject the light trap. So the false light trap, revoking the false light trap. So this is between the two sisters, the two siblings. Okay. Clearing, 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 clearing. So right now we're kind of at 0 points. So we're clearing kind of from 7D, from source consciousness, but 7D 0 point. Yeah, there's like this, like almost like a collapsed tiredness around the sister. So there's like an energy interference. So when Sinija is around her sister, Sinija feels tired. She feels like overwhelmed and like almost like a collapse wants to happen. So we want to just claim to collapse all mimic timelines for Sinija and revoke all false contracts in source's name, and then realign only to source and healing through only source sovereign command. So what is being released actually is when you're around your sister, your energy wants to collapse. So your field wants to just kind of collapse. And so we're clearing that and basically aligning your mirror grid, like the mirror grid. So mirroring source to source. So mirroring, so Sinija mirroring source to source. And then holding her field, Sinija's field steady. And then basically removing all false contracts between Sinija and her sister, only source aligned. So we're only doing this for the highest and greatest good, and only in the name of grace, and only under the law of one, right? So we're not interfering with the sister in any way. So we're just clearing this for Sinija. And then if coincidentally the sister wants the support, like her higher self, basically only source aligned steps forward, then that's can be between her and her higher self. But in this work, Sinija is asking the question, so we're working just with Sinija. Okay, so we're revoking all false contracts between Sinija and her sister in all timelines, in all spaces, in all dimensions. So space, time, dimensions, realities, and timelines. Good. They're saying that what is happening with the toe, it's like a psychic attack. So we want to clear that to the root cause, right to the very first incarnation, and then clear Sinija's name from those psychic attacks. And then bringing in Source's golden light. There's nothing to be afraid of because we're just basically clearing house. So bringing in Source's golden light for Sinija, and then updating the records only source aligned. And then asking for clear aligned expansion for Sinija. And we're also asking that the sister has no influence and no ability to interfere with Sinija in all timelines, in all dimensions, in all spaces, in all realities, and in all timelines. So they're saying we're basically clearing it from your younger selves, but who it affected the divine masculine side, the left side of the body. So bringing in, they're saying, right now, then Source is going to bring in Source's love, and then Source faith, and Source support. And then we're asking for compensation from Source for these interferences. And then only aligning with Source. And then sending all of this to Source, and then back to sender. And then asking Source to step in on Sinija's behalf. So they're saying yes, a collapse of all mimic timelines, and a yes to false contracts being removed. And then let's seal this space in Source's name, and seal this. It's like a self-healing, but it's like also an activation in Source's name. And then just clearing the spine, the alignment for the spine. But they said it feels a lot calmer now. And then they said this will really help Sinija stay in her power and mean it. And so, but not in a defensive way, because if we're defensive, we're not standing in our power. When we stand in our power, there's like, we're just aligned with Source, and then we let go, basically. And then the faster you let go, the faster Source steps in. Yeah, good job. Okay, so I'm just going to check the chat. Okay, good. Okay, so sending Sinija lots of love. Okay, so let's close Sinija. Let's close in Source's name. I'm bringing in the golden light of Source for Sinija and for all, under the law of grace and under the law of one. And so be it, it is done. And they're saying like, they're like showing me like it's stamped, it's approved, it's done, like stamped, stamped, sealed, and delivered. And I'm seeing, you know, like when a judge has a gavel and they're like, you know, and then they stamp it and then they seal it with that red seal and they seal it and they stamp it and it's done. It is done. Sinija says, just checking the chat, Sinija says, feels good, lots of release through breathing. Okay, very good, Sinija. Yeah, very good. The breath of life. And then just clearing a little bit on the divine masculine side, the left side of the body. Okay, good. Yeah, so good question, Sinija. So closing Sinija again, making sure completely closed and cleared, bringing in Source's golden light, and then a bubble of Source's golden light around Sinija, and then whoever is watching as well. Sealed in Source's name, and only Source aligned, and only Source expansion. Good. Yeah, a lot needed to be cleared there between the sisters. A lot needed to be cleared. So good job. Thanks, Sinija. Good question. And so the body was basically, you know, the messenger saying like this needs to be cleared, you know, between the sisters. So, and then we did it for Sinija's highest and greatest good, but ultimately it is for the highest and greatest good for the other person as well, because it's not good for them to be intertwined. It's not good for anybody else to be intertwined with our energy. Good. So well done, Sinija. Good question. Okay. Let's take a look at the chat. Okay, so Juanita had a question as well. When living with someone who is low vibes, what's the best thing to do to protect myself energetically daily? I have a living situation, can't afford to move, or I would. And then Juanita, 1981, she, her. Okay, great. Okay, let's take a look. And then Juanita says it's a roommate. Okay, good. Okay, so let's take a look. So Juanita, 1981. Juanita, 1981. So let's take a look at Juanita's living situation. So clearing, clearing, clearing. So again, we're connecting through the heart, connecting to divine presence, only source aligned, connecting to our higher selves, only source aligned. And then 0 point kind of is 70, kind of 7 to 90. So we're connecting to source consciousness, holding our field steady. And through embodiment, through the body. We're not leaving the body, we're in the body. Good. And then as we do this together, it's always easier together to anchor. And then we're only aligning with God Source Divine Presence, remembering who we are, our essence, our higher self essence, only source aligned. And so really what Juanita is saying, you know, how do I stay in my power? How do I stay in my energy field with constant interference? Okay, good. They're just releasing off the shoulders and off the back. So basically the message is off my back. Like get everybody off my back and release everything off my back. And then now we're going to command for Juanita to have all of the resources and the people and the space that match her mission in life. So her destiny. So we're asking, setting the intention that Juanita is building something so aligned with her higher self and source, and that she commands the resources, the people, the space to match her frequency, only source aligned, and nothing else. So in this work, we're not interfering with anybody, but we're just stating our intention, and then we're releasing it to source. And so we're affirming that Juanita needs support, and she needs support in her home environment. And we're asking for Juanita to have like a purification from source for her home environment. So the purification only from source, only source aligned. And then bringing in the support, only source aligned. Good. And so then they're saying, for Juanita, we can ask for clear aligned expansion that lights Juanita up. Good. Yeah, they're saying lighting a candle, like just even a single candle in your home, in your room, that will help a lot. Just a little practical thing. It's basically mimics or mirrors source's golden light. And then really we don't have to do anything with the people around us, but only claiming our space in source's name and claiming our energy in source's name, and then setting our intention. So the intention set for Juanita is to have clear expansion that lights her up, and having the resources, the people, and the space to match her mission in life or her frequency in life in the now. And then holding her field steady. So holding Juanita's source aligned field steady. And then we're wanting the environment to mimic or mirror. Mimic is not the word they're saying, scratch that. Mirror, that we're wanting that to then mirror in Juanita's environment. But they're saying, but let go, like we let go. And then they step in with the purification, and then they step in with the support. Yeah. And then we just have to state our intention. And so we're doing that with Juanita right now. We're stating the intention. We're stating the intention that Juanita, well, I have Sunija there too. So for all of us here watching, so all of us here to have clear aligned expansion that lights us up, and that we command the resources, the people, the environment, and the space that match source frequency and nothing else. Good. Whew. So purification. You might need some water. I feel a lot of heat came in for the purification. I'm just drinking plain water. with a little tiny bit of sea salt. Um, yeah, just releasing the neck and the shoulders. For Juanita, just releasing the body, releasing, 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 and just aligning, or actually, like they're saying, realigning with source. So it's just always realigning with source, and then coming in through the heart, and then realigning with source, and then holding. Juanita's feels steady, steady. Good. And then just affirm, like, I'm free now. Like, not later, now. I'm free now. Like, this purification happened. The support has stepped in, and I'm free now. And then see how good that feels, you know? Yeah, good. Because they're like, oh, free later. No, free now. Like, I'm free now. Okay, more water. They really heated you up, Juanita. Okay, so let's see. The chat's busy, so I'm gonna look for Juanita's responses. Um, okay, so Juanita says, oh, okay, cool. She says a candle and then has a candle emoji, clear expansion that lights me up. Yes. And then she says in source's name, yes. And then Juanita says, so be it. Good. Great. And Juanita says, I'm free now. And then this all has happened. Feeling good. Like a feather emoji, and then a smile emoji, and a white, I want to say dove, but a white bird emoji, and then triple hearts, pink hearts, and then thank you, Elaine. Thank you, Juanita. Okay, good question. Okay, so then it looks like it landed for Sinija and it landed for Juanita. Okay, so let's close. We're going to close for Juanita. There are a couple comments for Sinija, but I'm going to look at those after closing Juanita. Okay, so let's close the field and the space for Juanita, 1981. Okay, good. Closing. Okay, aligning with source and bringing in source's golden light. Only source aligned. And we thank Juanita's higher self, only source aligned for the support, and also for the purification, and then alignment to source. And then bringing in the golden light of source. Good. Bringing in source's golden light, and then holding the field steady with source's golden light. Let's just hold the field steady with source's golden light, and then only source aligned. Good. And then breathe. And then only clear aligned expansion that lights Juanita up. So clear aligned expansion, and then holding that intention, and then bringing in source's golden light, and then anchoring through the heart. And also I'm hearing the solar plexus. Okay, good. Okay, so we'll end here for Juanita, 1981. So thank you, Juanita. Good job. Sending lots of love. to everyone in the chat. Thank you for asking questions. I think we're at 12:21. Okay, so literally a mere number. So 12:21 is a mere number. It's 12:21 in Vancouver right now. And so far, we have not had an interruption with Hydro gave a message saying that they're at some point going to turn off all the electricity in Vancouver. And I'm not sure if it's BC, but it's in Vancouver. That's where I live. They're not saying when they're going to do it. They're just going to do it some point today. I'm guessing in business hours. So I think it was till 6 o'clock. But it hasn't happened yet. So if we do get disconnected, just we'll start again on Tuesday because I won't know when they're going to. I have no idea what they're doing with the electricity today, but that's the message that was received. So okay, so let's take a look at the chat. I just wanted to see if okay, so Nija had a question. Would the body image and identity decree overlap? Yeah, I think that you can add Sinija with the identity theft decree is the newest decree that's rolling out right now that's being uploaded in chapters. And I think you can combine the body decree with that because in a way it is an identity theft because what they want is actually to take over our bodies and also to take over like our image of our bodies and also the health of our bodies and also how just clearing the nervous system and how like they don't want us to have free communication between our bodies. Yeah, so I'm getting like 100% and hearts. Okay, good. Yeah, so I think that's great, Sunija. And always, make the decrees your own. So that's really good. Good thinking, Sunija. Good. Yeah, identity theft decree and the body decree, the body image, because it is connected. Whew. Okay, good job. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so there's another question in the chat. This will probably be the last one. So this is Vanessa. Okay, so Vanessa, does my mom have a message for me? I feel really bad how she passed, and my name is Vanessa 1968. Thank you. Triple hearts, triple red hearts. Okay. And then I think, Vanessa, you asked a question on Tuesday. So she, her, right? She, her. Pronouns, 12, 10, 68. Okay, great. Okay. So okay, so let's check in. I'm just going to send lots of love and then we'll go into the field. We're going to go connect to Vanessa's higher self. Okay, have some water first. Okay, so connecting with Vanessa's higher self, 1968. Sunija says, so sorry, Vanessa, big hugs to you. And then an angel, and then double hugs, and then a healing heart, and a green heart, and a purple heart. So thanks, Sunija. So just supporting each other, in these lives. And lots of our questions overlap. So these questions are usually not just for one person, they're kind of for many. Okay. I don't know, it feels like there was some kind of injury, like in the brain on the right side at the back, some kind of like head injury, head trauma on the right side, so the divine feminine side. So does my mom have a message for me? I feel really bad how she passed. My name is Vanessa, 1968. There feels like there was some kind of trauma in the head. And then on the right side, Okay. I don't know, they're just working with that right now. They're just working with the right side of the head and working in this spot. Like they're, I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of like the back of my head, but it's kind of like they're working on this spot. So we're clearing, connecting to Vanessa 1968. We're connecting to Vanessa's higher self, only source aligned. We're asking for the deepest healing and the deepest clearing available for Vanessa and also for her mom. Realigning only source aligned. So source is golden light. And so we want to kind of see the truth of the situation. What's the truth of the situation between Vanessa and her mom? Because Vanessa says that she feels badly how her mom passed. So right now they're saying they just want to embody and hold your field steady with you, Vanessa. And again, it's coming up, collapsing all mimic timelines. So if they're not source aligned, just clearing them. Good. Good. Yeah, they're saying there was like a interference with like the false light, but they're saying that it couldn't have happened, it happened the way that it happened. And so there was like an interference with the false light, the false white light. Um, I mean, that's kind of how they trick, they trick people when they're in a weakened state. It's like it's part of the 3D trickery. So that's what we're like naming in this work. So okay. So just releasing the tension in the neck and then the body. So for Vanessa. Okay, so let me look. Okay, let's look at the chat. Vanessa says, thank you. And then Vanessa says, my mom's name is Barbara. And then she's born in 1943. Okay, so let's take a look. 1943. Barbara, 1943. Mom. 1943. They're just clearing, they're actually clearing like your teeth and your jaw, Vanessa, right now. Like they're clearing, it created like this pressure, and then there's this like clamping, with your jaw and your teeth. So they're just trying to release that, especially on the left side of your mouth. So they're just wanting to release that. It is, they said, a powerless thing. Um, So before people die, there's like this false white light trickery, like, oh, come to the white light. I don't know. They're saying there was this movie like the Poltergeist that was like that. Oh, the false white light. Um, so where's Barbara now? Let's find out. So false white light, the trickery, the 3D trickery. So that's why it's better that we kind of claim things now in source's name. So we'll claim Vanessa and her mom, Barbara, in source's name, and that we want to set an intention that any trickery that happened around Barbara and Barbara's death, that we want to name it in Source's name. So Barbara is she, her, 1943. So any trickery that happened with Barbara that we want it claimed and named in Source's name. And they said it's nothing to be afraid of. They're saying it's a regular 3D mechanism, regular 3D interference. So Source always wins. So we're revoking all false interference on behalf of Vanessa and Barbara, and we're claiming it in Source's name. In all timelines, dimensions, spaces, realities. Yeah, good. They're saying it's like feels so quiet, could hear like a pin drop, but we're setting the intention. We're setting the intention between Vanessa and her mom. So we're kind of doing like a redo. They're like, we're actually going to do a redo. We're going to do a redo because Vanessa's asking, and also Vanessa's connected with her mom, Barbara. So we're going to ask for a redo. So they're saying we can do that. So if they can do trickery, we can also bring in Source in any timeline, dimension, space, reality. Timeline, dimension, space, reality. Okay. So what we're asking for is a clear passage for Barbara, a protected passage in Source's name, and claiming Barbara's death in Source's name. So Barbara 1943, with Barbara's higher self permission, we're asking for a safe passage for Barbara 1943. So yeah, and we're stating our intention is crystal clear. We are only Source aligned, and we are asking for a safe passage for Barbara, only Source aligned. And only with God, Source, divine presence. And we're asking for the collapse of all mimic timelines, all false contracts, and only aligning with Source and the golden light of Source. And then basically clearing the track between Vanessa and her mom, Barbara. So Vanessa 1968 and Barbara 1943. So we're clearing the track, only Source aligned. And we're asking that the interference with Barbara, that Source steps in with consent only of Barbara's higher self, only Source aligned. And we're asking all false white light to be illuminated, and all false contracts to be illuminated, and all false mimic timelines to also be illuminated with Source's golden light. And we're asking for the safe passage of Barbara, only Source aligned. And that's the intention. And we don't want to go over and interfere in any way. We are only asking Source to step in. Yeah, clearing, clearing, clearing. They're saying I clear, I clear. So you can just claim like I am or I be. I am. So I am. And then even closer is like I be. So good. Okay, so let me just check the chat, see where we are. Um, okay, so Vanessa says, okay, so we have Barbara, so 1943 is her mom. So she's asking about her mom. And then Vanessa says, that's funny. I just got back from the dentist. So that's funny. I just had my left molar filled. Okay, so that's what I was felt. That's what I was feeling on the left. They were just helping actually clear that and heal that on the left molar. So on the left side. So they're just helping clear that. So that's interesting. So they're just kind of giving you like a boost, right? Because they're always looking, at the whole field and what's happening with the whole field and what's interfering with the field, basically. And so kind of everything connects with the body. So um and then, yeah, so Vanessa says, oh my God, I just had my left molar filled. Yeah. So she wanted, um, so Vanessa says she wanted to live into these times so bad. She taught me all about metaphysics and a big light came to me after I read a book she recommended called Ramtha. Um, and then Vanessa says, my mom gave me the book. And then Vanessa says, thank you. And then triple hearts. Okay, so it looks like it's landed. Um, so it's so interesting that your mom, Barbara, wanted to be part of these times. Yeah, because it's a lot. Like we have the most light workers on Earth right now, right? And we're anchoring 5D embodied and also 5, 6, 7, 8, 9D. And some people have told me they're embodying 11D on Earth, which I don't know yet. But I've had a couple people say it to me. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty amazing, even 5D embodied. So it looks like your mom was aware of this and aware of the false white light and that Vanessa wrote that her mom taught her metaphysics. And then after her mom died, a big light came to me after, or after she read this book that her mom recommended. And it's Ramtha. Ramtha was the book that Vanessa's mom recommended. So it looks like well, Source has stepped in. And so then any false timelines, any mimic timelines, any interference between Vanessa and her mom, and then also with Barbara's passage to basically source consciousness has been illuminated. So they're like, the intention is crystal clear. They're like, you did it. The intention is crystal clear. So a really good question, Vanessa, and great to check in on your mom. And so great to check in on Barbara, 1943. Okay, so really good. They're saying the intention is crystal clear. It's almost like if we were playing golf and we hit the golf ball, it would have been like in the hole. So basically, they're like, it's landed. It's landed. It's landed. Okay. So Vanessa says, I was exhausted and I had to leave the hospital and she passed from COVID. And I feel bad I wasn't there. Yeah. And a red heart. So yeah, exactly. And that was the trickery of that timeline, right? So the timeline, the COVID timeline, the trickery of the COVID timeline, that it was like, oh, we're going to harm like our loved ones and we can't be there when they're dying and we can't be with them. But they're saying that it would have been very difficult for your mom to pass if you were there. It would have, that's what she's saying. She said, I could not leave if you were there. So I just got, angel bumps where you get those angel bumps. You can't control that, when you get the goosebumps all over your body. So that's what she's saying. She's saying she couldn't have left if you were there. It would have been really impossible for her to leave her body, this Barbara body in 1943. They're just releasing for you. It would have been very hard for her to leave her body if you were there. So it's kind of like, even in the trickery, there's always source's grace. So, and then she's saying crystal clear, I'm always there. Like she's always there. She's formless, but she's always there. Always. Yeah. Yeah. She's saying, I'm always there, like always, like tight. Like she's like, I can come in tight. Like they can come in at 4D, like that's so close. So if we're at 5D, it's like we're like they're right there, like our heart is connected to their heart. And yeah, yeah, she's like, I'm right there. But it would have been really impossible, she said, if you were there. It would have been impossible for her to leave her body. Impossible to leave her body. So it's always like there's these tricky interventions, with the 3D and then all the COVID timeline intervention and trickery. But ultimately, the alignment is with source, right? Like light workers' alignment, their higher self is with source. So, all right. So let's check the chat and then we'll close Vanessa's question down, but really good question. I'm glad you asked, Vanessa. So they're still doing a little work on the right side of the back of the head. So I don't know if that's like an injury, present or past or something, but there's some kind of injury. But anyways, they're working on it, they're saying. So, and then just we're really setting the intention that we're staying in our power and that we mean it. And we are only source aligned. Yeah. No false white trickery allowed here. They're saying in this time, in this space. Okay, so let's take a look at the chat. Okay, so Vanessa says, thank you. Yeah, triple hearts. So got that. Thank you so much. And then Vanessa said, yeah, I was exhausted and I had to leave the hospital. And then she passed during COVID and I feel bad I wasn't there. Yeah. And red heart. Yeah, exactly. And that is the trickery of the 3D. It's like they're always doing these false and fake interventions. Vanessa says, I love you so much. Thank you. I've been wanting this message for years. Wow. Thank you, Vanessa. I love you too. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for asking the question. And thank you for receiving it. That's so beautiful. Thank you so much. And Vanessa sends 1, 2, 4, 8 red hearts. Thank you, Vanessa. I'm going to send you some hearts back. Yeah, this work is really touching. Like it is an honor. It's an honor to connect with your mom, Barbara, in the beyond, but they can communicate from 4D. So that's not far. And then once we're embodied 5D, then it's like right here. Vanessa says, I keep seeing orbs in my place and they're blue and white. And I used to see them in my peripheral vision. Now I can see them straight on. And I saw a purple pink one the other day in my home. Oh, that's beautiful. That's a lot of support, right? So the orbs are support. You can think of them from other dimensions, but you're activating your 5D embodied consciousness And so it'll, the veil is always then gets thinner between our higher self only source aligned, and then also with like our support team only source aligned. Yeah. And then Vanessa said, oh, for the head, that's probably my horse fall injury. Yes, thank you. Yeah, they're saying they're going to continue and work, but it's right here at the back of your head, like right here. I don't know if I'm showing it, but it's like right here, part of the head. So they're healing it. They're saying they're working on it and they're healing it. Yeah, good. And then Vanessa says, you cracked open my heart. Oh, thank you. And that is the best compliment. That truly is the best compliment. Because as soon as our hearts align and we mirror each other, right? That is 5D. That is truly 5D, right? That's what we're meant. We're meant to have that intention and that connection through the heart. Yeah, that is amazing. You couldn't have given a more beautiful compliment. Yeah, and that's what this work is all about, us connecting together and then mirroring source frequency. And then Vanessa says, it always hurts in the back of my head. You are such a beautiful person. I'm honored to know you. Thank you, Vanessa, and likewise. And I'm going to send you some hearts back. Yeah, so that injury, it is a doozy. It is very sensitive. I can feel it, and it does hurt. It does really hurt. So, but they're working on it and they're healing it. So just know that, the team is on it. The healing team is on it. So they're working on it. So yeah, I'm honored to know you too. And you're a beautiful person, beautiful question. It's like really wonderful to come together like this. And that is our higher selves working together with source. And then more amplification can happen when we're working together with source. And that is 5D. So, but it's 5D, 60, 70, 90, 11D. Like that's us embodying source in a 3D body, and our body giving us the clues of, the truth of what needs to get cleared and what's in our field. Phew. Thank you so much, Vanessa. Thank you, Sinija, for your question. Thank you, Juanita, for your question. And then thank you, Helen, for joining the chat. And then it looked like I missed somebody else join the chat that said hi. Oh, at MAIHABIB dash F5H says hey. I say hey back. I say hi. Thank you for joining and thank you for saying hi in the chat. Okay, so sending lots of love, and I'm just going to make sure that Vanessa's field has ended. Sinija sends like a fireworks kind of emoji, and then a shooting star, and then hearts on fire and 100%. So great. Okay, so I'm going to close the field kind of for everybody, and then I will see you on Tuesday at 11:11. So I'm going to be doing these lives, and you can come and ask questions at every live. There's like no end. So just, yeah, I'm going to do them Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11:11. And the decree that is out right now is the identity theft decree. And the videos are dropping every day, every chapter, one chapter a day. Okay, so let's just make sure that we close for Vanessa first. So closing for Vanessa. Closing the field for Vanessa. Good, 1968. And Barbara, 1943. Releasing everything to only source aligned. Setting our intention really, really crystal clear for the deepest healing and the deepest clearing to continue for Vanessa and also for Barbara. Only source aligned. So Barbara in the ether and Vanessa in her 3D body. continuing the healings and the clearings right to the root cause, to the very first incarnation. And then Vanessa continuing this with her higher self, only source aligned. And releasing Barbara with much love and much thanks for stepping forward and being here, only source aligned. And we ask for the field to be closed for Vanessa and for Barbara, only source aligned. And bringing in source's golden light. And then holding the field steady. And then for Vanessa, fully embodied in the 3D, connecting through the heart, only source aligned. Fully embodied. Yeah, good. They're like, it's very important because, when we have a loved one, it's like we want to jump out of our bodies. It's like, but actually it's more powerful to be fully embodied if you choose. But in this work, we are fully embodied and then set our intentions. And then we can communicate, as with seer work, we can communicate with any dimension. 24D is like the seraphim, only source aligned, and then 25D is source. So we're communicating in all dimensions, in timelines, spaces, right? But always with source, only source aligned. Good. So connecting back into the heart and then closing fully for Vanessa and her mom, Vanessa 1968 and Barbara 1943. All right, great. Thank you so much. And then we're going to close the field for everyone. Only source aligned. Sending everything to source and asking for source's compensation. If you're getting, tricked, harassed, bothered in your dreams, in waking life, send it to source and then ask source for compensation. And then let's start seeing how that works. My friend loved that. She's like, I love that. I love that. Because then it's like, well, if they're bugging you, it's going to cost them. Not just that you're sending it to source, but you're actually asking for compensation from source. Good. All right. Sinija says, amazing session and ending. Much gratitude to all. And then prayer hearts, emojis, 3 of them, and then 3 triple hearts with doubles. So yeah, lots of love. And we will see you. Our frequency held. We had no interruptions with the chat. We had no interruptions with the Wi-Fi. We had no interruptions with the electricity, even though Hydro said at some point during the workday, they're going to shut down all the electricity in Vancouver. But it didn't happen. So, and we did the technology decree. We claimed everything in source's name. So we did a lot of work in the session. And, take good care of yourselves. Always use your own discernment, right? Your higher self, only source aligned. Send everything to source, claim everything in source's name, and then ask for source's compensation. And then let's start seeing, like as light workers, how that goes. And then let me know. But good job. Okay, so we'll end here and see you in the next one. I'm here Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11:11 Pacific time in Vancouver. So I'm in Vancouver, Canada. So thanks for being